皆さん、明けましておめでとうございます。
明けましておめでとうございます。今年もよろしくお願いします。
よろしくお願いいたします。And that's gotta be
That's
our
like the
intro.
most low energy Happy New Year ever, dude.
Yep. You know.
2025, dude.
2025.
Let's
And
go.
The Gaijin shenanigans still going on.
Still going on. Another year. We did it. Full year.
Yeah, man. That Shibuya FamilyMart. That's the same FamilyMart that Gaijin climbed, right?
We're climbing up on?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That guy, that clerk that works there, man, he gets no peace, dude.
Oh, he's a Gaijin too.
Yeah, well, of course, dude.
Yeah, Naoki said a lot of konbinis these days, like all the tengies, the workers, they're all Gaijins now.
Yeah. You know why?
Why?
Because there's Gaijins they got to deal with, dude. That's the reason why.
Probably that too, man.
Oh, 100%, dude.
Yo.
When I worked at the karaoke, one of the things my boss was happy about, me being American, is that like I had no problem dealing with the American customers. Like I could just, if I had to like tell them to leave, or I had to like shut off the machine and be like, you need to leave, like you're not respecting the karaoke rules. You know, a lot of Japanese workers, it was hard for them to do that because, you know, okyakusama wa kami-sama. The customer isn't always right. He's God, dude. So like people were just very, my coworkers had a hard time, you know, and there's the language barrier stuff too, where it's like you don't know how to tell someone to f*** off.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Run to the counter. Back then, 電子辞書.
Right.
変えてください、お客様.
Yeah.
Nah, man.
So
that you know how we always used to say konbini in Roppongi has to be like the most mendokusai ass konbinis to work at.
1,000%.
Now I think it's that one in Shibuya, because that one I know which one it is. It's on actually I think that one used to be AM PM back in the days.
Oh, okay.
When we were there. That's why I was like why is there I mean everything is FamilyMart these days, but it's in the middle of Shibuya, right next to that Koban, right off Sentagai. You know Udagawa-cho. The middle Koban, right in the middle of Shibuya, right? That one's right next to it. AMPM.
Oh, all right. Not the one next to the station.
Nah.
Okay.
Nah. It's inside Udagawa-cho, in the middle of Shibuya. So, and the second floor they have Shakey's Pizza.
Dude, I've never gone to a Shakey's.
It's okay. They used to
Japan
have
or
pizza
US
buffet in Japan, so I went there like once or twice.
Oh, it was like all you can eat pizza
for like what, 2,000 yen or something like that. So
I'm
nice.
Like, okay, that's the right price.
I went there. But yeah, like konbinis in Kabukicho, Roppongi, all the nightlife places, because those were like the nightlife bullshit hubs, right?
Right.
So we always we always felt bad for the workers there. But now I think that one with all these inbound gaijins, that FamilyMart in the middle of Shibuya has to be the most mendokusai ass.
Yeah, it's got to be rough.
I mean, that's why maybe was that the same dude who came out when the gaijin climbed on the thing?
It could be. We should check. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm sure, you know, you got to put a clerk in charge that can handle all sorts of customers and all this stuff. Yeah, like I noticed that in Roppongi, the McDonald's in Roppongi back in the day, which it's not there anymore.
Oh, no?
Somebody told me that McDonald's closed, but in Roppongi there used to be a McDonald's, and that's the first time I ever saw non-Japanese workers in Tokyo, was at this McDonald's in Roppongi, and like it made perfect sense to me, because it's one thing to have like, you know, if you're a Japanese clerk and you've got Japanese drunk customers, you know how to handle that. You know, like the extent at which they're going to while out, like you kind of used to that. But when it comes to foreigners, if you're a Japanese clerk, you have no idea what they're going to do. So they just put the foreign clerks in there to match the energy, dude.
You think they're like gaijins or like non-Asian kids who grew up in Japan?
I think probably both. I think they probably had, because I mean, that was a strategic hiring for sure. You know, so whether they're Japanese but of foreign descent, or they're just foreigners with a work visa, either way, they're like, you guys, you're in charge of this spot.
Hired. Yeah, even the McDonald's has to be the most mendokusai ass McDonald's in all of Tokyo.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
Probably Shibuya too.
Yeah, but that Roppongi one, man, like as soon as the nightclubs and bars were like closing down and everybody went to that McDonald's, there were a lot of other places to eat. We used to go to a kebab place that was the bomb,
always.
dude.
Like kebab in Japan is good.
Yeah.
Shawarma.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, so good.
Yeah, it's real good.
You know where people eat shawarmas? Akiba.
Really?
Like kebab.
Uh-huh.
They have this
That's the
image.
spot?
That's like otaku food.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they have one kebab. They have few kebab places in Suehirocho, like the real deep Akiba places. Mm-hmm. So I used to go
that
there.
Just became an otaku thing, the kebab?
Yeah. There are other places too, but that's for another episode.
Right.
Yo, heard about the Hammer Girl? Hammauna?
No.
Yo.
Hammer Girl. Is this a manga? Is this a new anime?
No, it's
we got
real,
Chainsaw Man and we got Hammer Girl, dude.
Real life incident, man. So this Korean girl who goes to Hosei Daigaku, she injured 8 people because she got like mushi or maybe ichime by a Japanese.
She got
group.
ignored?
I don't know if it was ignored or ichime by a Japanese group.
Okay.
And according to the news, she approached 8 people in the middle of the class with a hammer and struck them one by one in the head.
Yo, that was some Three Stooges type stuff, right?
It was a big news. Nobody died, but they got injured, so they went to the hospital and stuff. And I don't know, like the news say, we still don't know what really went down, but she keep saying like, I got mushi sareta.
So she's like, people were ignoring me, so I got mad.
So that
bashed them with a hammer.
Yeah, mushi means a lot of things too, because who knows? Maybe she got ijime real bad. The thing is, ijime or mushi, whatever it was, she probably had some mental issues before. Some kind of like, yeah. I mean, who does that in the middle of class? The thing is, these people who got struck the head, they didn't even know her.
Damn, dude.
Middle class. And they
you know why they didn't know her? Because they were mushishiteta. They were ignoring her, dude. That's why they didn't know her.
I'm pretty sure she had some issues before, like some kind of like higai mososho, like the victim mentality. And like again, I watched the news. They showed it's Japanese news, so her face is on the news.
Right.
Korean news is all like mosaik, but Japanese news.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yo, like I looked at her face. I also saw her face on a Japanese news channel on YouTube. No remorse, man.
Oh, yeah? She was just like, serves them right.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm pretty sure like later on she will say, I got ichime or mushi because I'm Korean. But personally, I'm pretty sure if she got ichime or mushi, I'm pretty sure it was her personality. It wasn't her.
She deserved
nationality.
You're not on Hammer Girl's side, dude?
No, I'm not condoning ichime, bullying, or hitting my the head with a hammer.
Right.
But again, it's always like that.
Dude, she brought the hammer with her. She planned this out. She's like, I
don't know. Maybe
play whack-a-mole with these fools. Just brought a hammer with
motorcycle. But I don't think there was I don't know. I think the news said like she found a hammer
at school. Damn.
Who knows? And of course, just like I mentioned, whenever these things happen, Japanese news, they reported no mercy style. Her name, age, race, nationality, occupation, also showing her face. Like you can, and I'm not gonna put her face on the thing, but Actually, I'll put a link description so you guys can go watch it for yourself.
Well, why does Korea not show her face?
Same reason, probably same reason we don't show people's faces on news here.
But we do. We just don't show kids, and we don't show the name of the kid. But like, if an adult does something,
I think
you see them.
Maybe in Korea, it's like we still don't know what happened yet.
I see.
But in Japan, no. As soon as they catch him, it's just like, okay, say cheese time, right? I mean, whatever the reason was, nobody cares, man. The thing is, what Japanese people will care about from now on is the word Korean, ryugakse.
Right. Well, remember in another video we talked about the Korean ryugakse that tried to save a man in the subway and lost his life, being heroic.
Yeah. And that changed the whole image of Koreans and ryugakse. Now, okay, now we got this big.
Oh, so she just canceled out all the good that
now,
guy brought.
What Japanese people will say is like, don't like nakayoku shinai de Korean to ryugakse. Chinese ryugakses had this thing for years and years. Koreans too.
This issue in Japan?
Yeah, I mean it's been an issue.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So we just talked about the Korean student.
Right.
Now we got this. Man.
Well, now I mean, if it reinforces the whole Mushi thing, like don't be friends with Koreans, they're gonna get more hammers, dude.
I don't know, man, but 2025.
Yeah,
opening up the new year strong, man.
Yeah, man. All right, so apparently on Twitter X, there's some big controversy about this Dandadan anime and some fan art and race swapping.
Dandadan?
Yeah, it's an anime that's based off of a manga that's been out for a while, but the anime just came out recently.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And
so it is an anime.
And somebody drew two characters or did like an edit. It was just like an anime edit. It's just I think it's just like a frame of the anime, and then they just painted them over and they made the characters black. And they're originally two Japanese like school kids, right? Or junior high or high school. I'm not sure what their age is. I haven't watched the anime yet. I've kind of skimmed it to see if like there was anything relevant to it, to race or anything like that. But no, it's just a Japanese anime about Japanese people doing things. But on Twitter and X, there was this post that someone made. It was a fan artist who just made the characters, just did an edit and made them black. And the thing blew up. It had all sorts of people like saying it was racist and it was erasure of Japanese culture and all these other things. And I went through it to see how much of this was like, real and how much, do people really care this much about something like that? And I don't, maybe my perspective is different because once you create a character, people can do whatever the hell they want on the internet with it. I mean, I've seen my characters drawn in different ways, and like I don't care. It's fan art. People could do whatever they want, Right. But I looked into it, and the voice actor of the characters got involved. The American voice actors of the character, and the characters depicted as black characters who were originally Japanese, and there was a tweet by a Japanese person saying that this was, racist and disrespectful, and it was an erasure of Japanese culture and the Japanese race or something like that. And then that tweet has like, I don't know, like 130,000 likes, dude. So like people care about this, right? I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Again, this was a fan artist. This wasn't someone affecting the anime or the manga in any real way that I can think of, right? I tried to see if the creator of the manga had any comments about it, but I couldn't find anything. And my guess is that this person, the creator, doesn't care. I mean, it's just something a fan did, and it's a fan artist. I'm pretty sure this person's probably really young too. Like they just drew their characters and just changed them, but whatever. The funny thing is, looking into it, there's other. Apparently, this is something that's been going on for a while in video games and anime and manga, where characters are depicted in a race that they aren't, or like a skin tone that's not the original one of the character. And so people are just up in arms about it. And it's a cartoon. Like, relax.
Right.
I mean, on both sides, like, why do you care so much? Like, so I looked into it. There was this character is called Okarun, and he's like this nerdy eyeglass wearing character from Dandadan. But then apparently there's other things, like there's a video game called Splatoon, and there's a character Ida or Marina Ida who's black, but she's also an octopus or something. She's got an octopus tentacle head. I mean, it's a video game, dude. And some Japanese artist drew the character, but the skin tone was a little lighter, and people lost their mind and, you know, cried racism and all this stuff. And like, and it was a whole thing online, to the point where the Japanese artist apologized and said that that when they did the lighting on the final drawing, it came out lighter and it wasn't on purpose, and it wasn't. I mean, dude, Japanese people, they don't have a history of black anything. I mean, I don't know. There's that Black Samurai or whatever they made an anime about and all that stuff. I don't know. I don't know how much of that is true or not. I haven't read about it, so I won't have an opinion about that. But for the most part, we know Japan is a homogenous country, and, you know, they mostly do things for the Japanese audience. That's what they do it for originally.
Right.
If it gets exported to other countries, because a lot of other countries love anime and manga, the original work wasn't made for an international audience. I mean, depending on who it is, but for the most part, that market does things a certain way that's appreciated by their Japanese readership.
Right.
There's another video game character from Genshin Impact. His name's Kaya, and this one was crazy. And we'll pop up images just so people see, but like, the discrepancy in tone. People on Twitter are talking, you know, like the eyedrop tool in Photoshop, where you can pick colors from an image, and it'll give you like the CMYK or whatever reading of the color. You know, really negligible difference in skin tone, in my opinion, as an artist. But it was a huge deal. And again, fighting nonstop. So by the time this Dandadan, Okarun, and the girl characters, I'm forget her name right now. By the time this came up, it had already been a thing, a back and forth between Japanese people and other people from other countries. And I mean, all sorts of fighting, all sorts of talk about erasure of cultures and genetics and all this stuff. And it's like, man, I don't know, man. These people, they got a lot of time on their hands. I don't know. I mean, in my opinion, this is fan art. It doesn't affect the creator. It doesn't affect the franchise. The only person it affects is anybody who wants to be affected by it.
100%.
Because they don't have anything better to do. And the other thing is, these characters are not you.
Exactly.
Like, what is this? That's ridiculous. Like, I think some people take fandom to a crazy place where it's like, this character is me. But I can't see any black people watching this anime thinking that. It's clearly not. It's clearly not them. Now, here's the thing. If we're looking at race, now, the beautiful thing about fictional characters is that actually they represent all of us.
Right.
A good character, regardless of what they look like, purple, green, brown, whatever.
Right.
If it's a good character, you could be anybody on this planet and identify with this character. So, again, I find that ridiculous, but it was a huge thing to the point where people shut down their Twitter accounts over it and all this kind of stuff. It was crazy. Like, okay, so this artist the artist that originally posted this image, I think they closed down their Twitter. They were, cyberbullied to the point where they just left. Yeah. And it was like it was a fan artist. They were selling like blackified anime characters for like $15 or something like that.
Selling it.
Yeah.
People buy those though?
I don't know, man. I guess they do. I guess they do, dude.
Now you know what you have to do, huh? Yeah. Race swap everybody now.
But again, I mean, obviously amateur artist, just, doing some stuff, probably young as well. And again, I guess people want anime. I mean, we've seen this already, like since back in the day. Remember those Black Bart Simpson t-shirts and stuff? And like all that. So again, people like that kind of stuff. But again, it's stupid. I mean, whatever. Do whatever you like. That's not affecting the Simpsons franchise.
No, not at all.
I mean, the bootlegging is a crime on its own and whatever. And I don't know this fan art stuff. I don't want to get into like the legalities of it. But people are getting angry over stuff that doesn't make sense. Now, the voice actor of Okarun got on Twitter and he was like, I support this. And then he changed his profile image to this fan art, right? So he actually is officially the voice of Okarun in the English dub anime.
That's a character in Dandadan. Is that the main character?
Yeah, well, for as far as I know, there's two main characters. I haven't watched the anime, so I don't know. But yeah, there's this girl and this guy who were both depicted as black characters in this thing, and they're the main characters as far as I know right now. I don't know the whole story, but we're introduced to the series through these two characters and their first meeting in class and whatever. As a girl, she's a badass, and she likes men that are like Takakura Ken, the Yakuza movie actor from Japan. And they're very classic, And so she's, she breaks up with her boyfriend, who's, some asshole, and then she sees people bullying. Hey, we're going back to bullying. They're bullying Okarun in class. He's reading a magazine. They're throwing stuff at him, and so she goes and sits next to him. And she's a badass, so like all the guys are like, oh, and like they get scared and they stop bullying, and that's how like they start talking. And he's into like UFOs and stuff like that, and he's reading a magazine about it. So they fight over whether UFOs exist or ghosts exist and whatever, and then that's where the story starts.
Okay.
But the voice actor, the guy that voices Okarun in English, got on Twitter and said like, I support this and whatever. Put that image as his avatar in on Twitter, his image, and that didn't last very long. He took it down, because here's the thing: he works for that company, so that company, if Japan does, and a lot of Japanese people,
especially localization and voice acting these days,
right. So people were asking. Now here's the thing. Somebody said something about here, fixed it, and like had like a Japanese character, drawn depicted as a black character, right? Again, all of this to me is very silly. There's better things, there's more important things people could be concerned about, but hey, it's Twitter. So then people in Japan got offended by this. Because they're like, what do you mean? You're fixing a Japanese character by making them black? That's racist. And again, that term, people love throwing it around.
Especially these
days. To the point where they don't even know what it means,
Mm-hmm.
basically. And like, so when this guy put that up, somebody tweeted and said, fire this voice actor.
A Japanese person said that?
A Japanese person said that.
Okay, I see.
And said, you need to fire this person because they're a racist. And I think they said, the overseas voice actor is expressing his support for blackening the characters, which is a desecration of the original work and racism that excludes Japanese people. He changed the icon image of his X account to a hate image that blackens and excludes Japanese people. To express this desecration of the original work and discrimination against Japanese people. This is an international issue. Officially, please remove this voice actor immediately. So that was a Japanese tweet.
So the studio was like, "Yo, like delete your tweet."
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know what the studio did. I think this person did it out of self-preservation. But that tweet, I think that's the tweet that has 130,000 likes. So, and then hilarious, and we got to pop these images up. But dude, immediately the internet got in line and started doing stuff. So it says, yeah, like I think this was another tweet. Somebody said, "I'm Japanese and I don't like this. I don't think this is good," or whatever. Like by saying that, they meant changing the race swapping. But then it was just nothing but images of Japanese people with dreadlocks, wearing like hip hop, like just like doing Yamamba type stuff. All of it. So again, it's just by looking at this, you got to realize how silly this is, right? But this, the voice actor quickly took that off his profile, and then he got the wave of people telling him all sorts of stuff. People dug up tweets by this guy about race, saying how and so I think more than anything, now that I think about it, it might not be so much outrage about this cartoon fictional character being depicted differently by a fan artist, which is, again, it's like a victimless crime, really. But it's about the double standards on the internet about this type of stuff. So apparently, if you make a black character white or any other color, people are super outraged. But then if it's another character and it's black, then nobody has anything to say about it, and it's okay. And it's like, well, these people are like, well, you can't have it both ways. If you're, really upset that a character has been changed, has been race swapped, and it's not the original thing, then you can't be okay with it just because it's your color and you think it's fine. Right. So again, all of this is real dumb, but that's what's going on. So yeah, that's what the Dandadan thing is about. But I've seen there's tons of videos about it on YouTube even. Like, this is like a thing. I think
I saw some of it, but I was never like, I'm gonna have to watch this. But but personally, I'm okay with people doing stuff with my music. For example, like this dude, I got a DM from this dude in Russia who wanted to do a remix of my song. It's like, can I use your instrumentals? I'm like, yeah, man, go ahead and like do what you want. And my friends don't even ask me. They just rip that stuff off the internet and just use it anyways. So I'm like, go ahead. Thanks for asking, by the way. So I guess it's like, people doing a remix of a song these days.
Right.
I mean, so, which I'm totally okay with, because this day and age of social media, right? You don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it's all free advertisement. So I'm like, just give me a credit and do whatever you want. So, but what I'm not okay with is, you mentioned about fixing things. And now we have these people thinking that they're fixing someone's work.
Right.
That I'm not really down with. And I mean, yes, there are things like, like during production, of course, there are things that needs to be fixed. And of course, there's a lot of them. For example, let's say I only drew like 4 fingers instead of 5, and editors like, you got to fix this, right? Or when it comes to music, like sometimes I forget to unmute a channel, so the whole instrument is not there. So I'm like, I got to fix this. But I mean, even in those cases, it's still up to the original creator and the studio to make the decision, right?
Of course,
it's not people's decision to say things. Like, look at like Simpsons, like they only draw 4 fingers, right? And there's a reason for that, right? Because of the production. You can't be drawing like 5 fingers all the time. It just like slowly.
Yeah, it's just a stylistic choice.
Yeah, and plus, I don't know, people, they really think they're fixing it though.
My thing is, who cares what these people think? Why is any time being given to any of this? Like, just do whatever. Like, again, I don't know. I think maybe it's just people get triggered over stuff.
Yo, that kind of reminds me of back in the day in Japan and Korea. Like the fans of a drama or anime would send letters to the publisher or the broadcasting station. They'd be like, oh, like do the story like this or make it a happy ending.
Right.
I mean, Kodansha, they get mad, what do you call those? Like postcards or like letters all the time, right?
Right.
And back then, like Ninki drama or anime, they did fix things, the storyline or the ending, just to make everybody happy because it's so popular. It's like, okay, we can, you know, have a sad ending, so they changed it. But I don't think it was never about race. Maybe because it's Japan and Korea.
Well, because it's Asia. I mean, there's the other issues, but that's not one of them. I mean, I think the U.S. in particular, you know, this type of racial issues and stuff, they're fomented. Usually around election time, you'll start seeing a lot of talk of all this type of stuff because it's a good way to get people all angry and distracted and whatever. But it's like, man.
Yeah, man.
This is... It's ridiculous. It doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, I don't know. As a biracial person, many of you watching this might not know, but I'm a biracial person. I'm half black. I'm half white. I'm of, I guess, Argentina if you're white, of European descent, but you're a Latin American country. You know, there's a whole thing. Some people don't consider themselves to be Latin in Argentina. Others do. I don't care about any of these things. They're all ridiculous to me. Right. And fighting over this stuff is some of the dumbest waste of time. Again, this is going to be a hot take. And just comment down below and let me know what you think. Let me know if the color of your skin is the most important determining factor of who you are as a person.
I already hear them coming, man.
But I mean, seriously, if like your value as a person is predicated on the tonality of your skin,
right?
You know, well, here's the thing. A lot of people, I think they do feel that way. I think they feel that the color of their skin is one of the most important aspects of them as a person. But the issue with that is, in my own opinion, is that you're very easily manipulated.
Right.
Once you take that stance, once you see yourself as part of a group, and then that group has been determined that these things are things that are done by that group, and these things are not done by that group, you've put yourself in a box by choice.
Yeah.
And you will be manipulated to no end.
Right.
So it's up to people to realize that.
Yeah.
And some people will have a real problem with me saying it, but I mean, I'll tell you one thing about being biracial, and this is something, race and everything, it's just not something that interests me in terms of like arguing and whatever. It's like people are going to see it however way they want to. But I've been called all sorts of derogatory terms by everybody. And I've been called white, black, and Hispanic in the most derogatory terms you could think of. And the one thing, and that was here in the U.S. The U.S. is a country that specifically does this.
Right.
People are controlled by this. I don't know. I wasn't raised here, so I realized that might be something I did not grow up with, and that's why maybe I have this way of looking at things that is very different from some of my American friends.
Yeah.
But you're kind of trained to look at things in this country that way by race.
Right.
And these things are like, they're just beaten into people at a young age. So by the time they get to be an adult, it's like they can't think any other way.
Right.
I don't know. Again, hate in the comments.
Yeah.
It's true though. If you say it'll be a learning experience. Let us know what you think.
If you say something against the narrative, then you're a traitor.
Yeah, well, it's just these people that feel that way. They got to realize a traitor against what? And again, I mean, you've had people who have lost their lives. You've had people like Martin Luther King saying, you know, judging people by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. And then nowadays, you just have people saying the opposite.
Back to this.
And so again, that's just manipulation. We're all people.
Yeah. Man.
Cringe Musume, peace. In the world.
Peace.
But yeah,
kids will be kids. Stuff. But again, when it comes to these anime and cartoons, can do whatever they want. Problem is, like, the race thing, that's not what it is. That's not you. It's just a manga or anime. So
Right.
you want to do remixes, go ahead. I don't have a problem with it. Just don't think that you're fixing anything. That's what I wanted to say about this whole race swapping thing.
Yeah, the fixing part, but again, it's just that's like an emotional response to something that's really silly.
Yeah.
But you know, people love getting triggered by people they will never meet in their life. They have no control over their own life, or somebody just telling you something. And this is a nobody that has nothing to do. You don't know them from Adam. You'd have nothing to do with them. Their opinion should not matter to you.
Exactly.
To the point where you're getting angry.
Right.
It's just, who are they? Who are they to you?
Plus this race swapping thing, it's not even a fan art, man. That's just an edit. Like you said, the what do you call that little thing, spoiled looking thing?
What do you mean?
Color select tool on Photoshop.
The eyedrop tool.
It's just that. Just an okay, this color, and copy and paste color.
Well, this person colored over it and like drew and stuff. They drew a little afro on the guy and all this other stuff, right? Okay. So it's fan art. It's fan art. Man, if the amount of crazy stuff I've seen with Robbie Reyes on Tumblr, right? So that's a character I co-created with Trad Moore for Marvel, right? And he's the all-new Ghost Rider. And I've seen the wildest fan art. I've seen him. What do you call it? Like swap gender. I've seen him as a girl.
Gender swap.
I've seen him gender swapped. I've seen him, in very explicit scenarios with all sorts of characters.
Was it like Bieru type stuff?
Yeah, it was boys love for sure. Yeah, some of it was for sure. And it's like those people that, I guess this is a term that came up. It's the head canon. Right? So when something's canon, it means this is verified, true by the source, whether it's a publisher, an anime studio, whatever. This is canon. This is the true story. This is how the events occurred. This is what these characters are about. These are their motivations. That's the true story. It's not fan made. It's the official story for these characters. Then there's headcanon, which is just fans of any franchise or character coming up with their own theories and ideas about these characters, and I see them as this, and
fan, or some fan fakes,
right,
or something
like
that,
like there's fan fiction, there's fan art, and that's a whole thing that exists on its own out there, and you have no control over it. You shouldn't have control over it. People should be free to create off of anything they like and put it out there.
Right.
Even if you look at Japan, right? Some people want to say, "Oh, well, if these people are making money off of these characters, I don't feel right about it." Japan doesn't care. These people should realize that. Like, there's a whole doujinshi industry.
Comic is about doujinshi.
100%.
I found later. I thought it was just an anime convention, but
no.
Part of it was
it's doujinshi. Yeah, and so people do their own fan manga, which again, the quality rivals regular. I mean, a lot of these doujinshi artists, they're just professional artists that just do things independently, and some of them publish books of known franchises: Evangelion, Sailor Moon, whatever you can. There's probably some Dandadan doujinshi in Japan with those characters doing probably all sorts of adult stuff.
Yeah,
and the publishers don't care. So, here it's different. I think publishers do care about that kind of stuff.
But in Japan, no. It's just free advertising, though.
They don't at all. So, so a lot of these artists ended up deleting their accounts. And then the voice actor for Okarun.
What happened to him? Did he get fired?
Well, a lot of people dug up tweets, which people love to do when they want to bring somebody down. They just go.
Always, man, always.
So they found tweets where he was, being pro-black and, saying that he was saying how if a black voice actor is voicing a character that's lighter skin, it's a huge problem and it shouldn't be. And then he was saying, but if a non-black character voices a black character, then it's a huge problem, and it's not about race, it's about culture. And again, and he plagiarized Denzel Washington thing.
His interview?
Quote. No, it was a tweet. It was a tweet, but he used something that Denzel Washington said. He said,
okay.
It's about culture. You know, it's about knowing, you know, the smell of like an iron, like a hair iron, or what it sounds like in a barber shop, and all these, you know, black things.
Yeah, that's Denzel's interview, right?
I know, but you know, people love just taking people's words and making them their own, right?
See.
So he said that, and then people are like, okay. And they started getting on his case, and then he just deleted his Twitter account and went to Blue Sky.
He just peaced out?
I think he peaced out and went to Blue Sky. And then
and just ran away.
And then I think more than anything, I think maybe he didn't want to get fired. And he figured, okay, let me just disappear, so like this heat can't come to me. And then he went on Blue Sky and he said, you know, I'm just, you know, I'm avoiding the haters and the racists and all this stuff. I don't know. I saw there were some tweets where he was just like, I'm here because of the racists. And, you know, Blue Sky is supposed to be the place where racists don't exist.
Good luck with that, son.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I guess people really care about people's skin color, huh?
I guess. I mean,
that kind of reminds me of, like, movies when we watch when we're young. Mm-hmm. I don't think we ever cared about Luke Skywalker's. Like, I grew up in a black neighborhood. Nobody was, that white boy. Nobody said that. Everybody was, I want to be like, yo, man. You know how people
the other
here,
thing is,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. What were you saying?
No. I was just saying, you know, people was saying like, we need more representation of Asians in Hollywood, more blacks in Hollywood, whatever. And Asian Americans here say like, the only role model I had growing up was Bruce Lee or Mr. Miyagi. Right. And at first, when I was young, I was like, nantonaku wakaru. But I was even down with, you know, all this Asian this, Korean that for a short amount of time. But I always felt I was like super forcing myself to think that way. Then I thought when I was young, okay, how were we when I was young? Thinking about it, I don't really recall anybody saying like race this, race that when I was young.
No, I don't either.
Maybe because where I grew up, I don't think I ever liked somebody or like a character or a musical artist because like he's black or Asian, whatever. We didn't really have any Asians back then.
Right.
I mean, characters like Michael Jackson. Everybody liked Michael Jackson.
Right.
Nobody was like, I mean, he had his own personal problem, but yeah, man.
There's some new uncovered stuff about Michael Jackson that I've been looking at, man. Apparently the story we were given. What's that?
Let's not get into Michael Jackson now.
Well, I know. Apparently the story we have of Michael Jackson might not be the real one. I don't know. But again, it's just a lot of people get smeared for different reasons.
Tupac is still alive. But anyways.
I don't know about that. But
I mean, the characters in Star Wars, we all liked characters in Star Wars. Even the aliens and robots, right?
Yeah, they're characters. Like, that's what characters. It's been,
also, like
the whole point of these characters is they're supposed to represent people, regardless of all these superficial details about them.
The adventure, the character, like the hero's way. Oh, Hero's way.
Right.
Hero's way, Ryoko. That's why he's Hero's way. But yeah, man, I like. On the flip side, I don't think anybody was like that either because we all watched Karate Kid together. And nobody was like, he's white or he's Asian. We're not gonna. No, everybody was doing like the crane kick. So I don't know. I don't think it even mattered when I was young. I think you think it's a generation thing?
I mean, I do think it's part of it is that I think the last couple of years we've really seen a lot of talk of race in the media, a lot in the news. And I just think there's a lot of fomenting, like getting really people to get, because the whole thing about identity politics has become huge.
Right.
in the last few years, you know, and that's just it's another form of control, man. It's controlling your mind.
Yeah.
Like people, we got to do better than that. Like people have fought historically in this country to have everyone be equal and not look at these things. And now we're doing the absolute opposite, like fighting to be, I'm different, and jumping, everybody diving headfirst into a. Dude, remember when we were in high school, there was a whole thing about don't label me. Don't label me, man. I'm just me. I'm just me. I'm not like anybody else. I'm my own person. Now it's the opposite. I'm this. I'm that. I'm this. Oh, it's crazy,
100%.
dude. Yeah. I mean, I think people like being outraged too. I mean, we especially nowadays. Yeah. I feel like it just makes people feel like they're alive to be angry about something, and then seeing people agree with them, just I gotta scream more. It's crazy.
Okay, man,
that's why the algorithm favors negative stuff.
Yeah, let's see.
It's just for some reason.
Let's see how he's gonna favor us this time, though. But yeah, man, like, you know, back to movie stuff. Back in the days, like Mr. Miyagi, I didn't want to be Miyagi. I didn't care about Miyagi. I was like, I don't want to be that old, dude. Also, George Takei from Star Trek. I did not want to be that dude.
No?
I'm like, I'm not that dude, man. I want to be Kirk or Spock. So, right? Even video games. Who's that dude in Tekken? The Korean dude, Harang.
Oh, that was my guy, dude.
Yeah, man, like
you could switch stances, do all the kicks and stuff.
Yeah, man, like I watched that dude. I'm not gonna play this motherfucker just because it's Asian or Korean. This dude, like Brian Fury forever, son.
Right.
Oh, I should race swap Brian Fury to Asian.
You make him Asian, yeah. Nah, then it'll be bad. Then you'll fix it. You'll fix it, dude.
I'll fix it. Just fix these motherfuckers. Man, that voice actor dude. I mean, that kind of reminds me of this localization thing that was going on. I think it's still going on, but it was a big thing a few months ago. There's Crunchyroll and I think it was Funimation. Are they together now? Did they become one company?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, back few months back, they got caught doing more than tweaking the translations, localizations, and dubs. Yeah. To send out the message, to anime fans, like sliding in like all these SJW gender neutral terms and some kind of agenda, etc. Right, all in the name of fixing these mangas and anime, man.
Yeah, that's always the wrong choice, dude.
Yeah, man. No wonder they call them Wokelizers these days.
What's that? What do they call them?
Wokelizers. They're now localizers. Yeah. And now they're all getting replaced by AI now.
Yeah.
And also for the games, man. You know, because they got caught too. They got caught doing something. I can't remember which game it was, but there were multiple games. So now, like, Japan was like, yo, what the f? Because all these years, Japan's like, okay, you do this. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. Just, okay, do it. And, thank you. They didn't really care about all these woke stuff or, like, this gender, whatever, what's going on here. Because it's in Japan, they don't really care about those things. They're just like, Saikin, America dakara, hi. But now they really know.
But it's some mendokusai Amerikajin stuff, dude.
Yeah, but again, they're not going to be like, oh, yo, what the f?
No, well, I see.
Until now,
I believe they see their. Well, you know, I think, like I mentioned earlier, initially their target audience is their own country, and then everything else is just cream on the top. You know, like I think most creators are. You know, well, I won't say most creators. It depends on the person. I think some people just see it as like, okay, what's gonna? Because I've heard people like in publishing talking about. You know, translating and should we do it this way or that way? Should we change this or that?
Right.
From the original so that it like, because localization should be making something that's from one culture, palatable for another culture, have it make the most sense. Right?
Can't be the exact same literal.
Right. But it has to be the same story and the characters have to be the same. if you're doing you're rewriting if you change that, and that's what I think might have started. They might have started doing that and creating a problem where Japan is not cool with that.
Right.
They don't want you changing the original story or fixing it.
Fixing it, man. Fix all you want, but I mean, I say this with music all the time. If you want to do, I mean, people always have these opinions when you make music. I'm like, yo,
right,
make your own music.
Right.
I think that's what manga too. Like, if you want, let's say, like black characters or whatever characters, make your own.
Yeah, make your own.
Talking about all the characters in localization in Korean mangas. Yo, it was the same thing in Korea too. We talked about the illegal bootleg Korean Japanese mangas, right?
Oh yeah.
And all the names of the characters and the stores in the neighborhoods were localized.
Right.
Even after licensed versions came in. So, know how Rick Hunter from Macross, Hikaru, right? But
Robotech.
then you don't know Hikaru. You only know Rick Hunter, right?
Right. Yeah.
Who else was there? Same deal with Korean localized manga. Let's say the licensed version of Slam Dunk. Let's say.
Okay.
Kangbeko. That's doesn't have to do anything with Sakuragi's kanji, but Sakuragi, right? And the whole team, because the manga was
names.
The whole team, the manga itself, Slam Dunk was such a big hit in Korea.
Right.
Even to this day, if you tell any Korean their Korean names, everybody knows him.
Oh yeah. I understand that.
Yeah,
I mean, growing up in Argentina, the cartoon characters had different names. Like Daffy Duck was Pato Lucas. Like Goofy was Tribilin. Like that drove me nuts as a kid.
What about Captain Tsubasa?
Oliver. I think his name was Oliver Atom. Which is weird because that's like Astro Boy too. But I think his name was Oliver Atom. I know it was Oliver for sure.
Korean,
it was always,
Korean names didn't have anything to do with the original name. It was just some random ass Korean name. So one of the things that I used to do as soon as my Japanese was up to par when I was in Japan, I would go to book off or manga kisas, and I will reread all the classics. And like to find out to see their real names in Japanese. And that really
was it shocking?
No, it just felt different because remember how you said Shusang, you wanted to hear this guy in his own Japanese voice, right?
Right.
That's how I felt with Sakuragi, with everybody. And by the way, the first anime I rewatched was Urotsuki Doji. I really like the series, bro. Like without all the ecchi stuff, still I think it's a good manga.
It's a classic, dude. It's crazy. Some wild dude.
Yeah, man. So not only the names, but the names of the neighborhoods.
Right.
So a lot
Would they make them Korean?
Yeah. So it was like, let's say if it's Shibuya, they will pick a place like Myeongdong, which is like Shibuya, or like Shinjuku of Korea. So they would just say like, they just slap on a whatever Korean jime.
Right.
So a lot of these things, I was like, and living in Japan, Ichimaru-Q, we always see that. Right. Like they're building on mangas or animes, right? But let's say like these machis, regular machis that I lived without even knowing it was there. Like say like GTO. Right. Like first scene of GTO is Eikichi in front of the station, which was Kichijoji Station. I lived in Kichijoji.
Right. Yeah.
And I later like Bukofu.
You saw it in the manga. You're like, yeah. And then, that was one thing that was really cool about manga is that all the locations are real,
right?
For the most part, the ones that take place in Japan. And when you go there, it's kind of like that was the Kabukicho Gate for me.
Yeah, exactly. But Kabukicho Gate and Marukyu's building is famous. But let's say like Shotano Sushi, Guess where it is?
No idea.
Sancha.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Sangenjaya?
Yeah.
Nice.
So those things, like, you feel like, oh,
Yo,
like,
shout out to Sangenjaya, dude.
so man, to me, that was my little,
I lived
guess.
there for a couple months
Me too.
in Sangenjaya. Yeah.
Shout out to Masa again. Masa's the dude who took garlic shots.
Oh, garlic shots?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. You know what's happening with the localization? I think originally you're talking about those like little bootleg manhwa in Korea and, you know, Robotech, you know, Macross and all those things. That was a different time when people knew a lot less about Japan.
Right.
And it was also, anime and manga was very strange. It didn't follow the conventions of Western animation.
Right.
You know, it was like choppier. It was like more like kind of like violent at times. It was, you know, more erotic in certain things. So they had to package it. You know, they were competing against, you know, Bugs Bunny, Joe He-Man, that type of stuff. So they had to like do whatever they could to make it more like other things. So changing the names to the names from that language, changing locations if they have to. But nowadays, fans of those things already know a lot more about Japan.
Right.
They have the internet. They have
the
so it went
context
from
and everything,
having characters that had like different names to kind of match like the language of localization to now people just understanding that it takes place in Japan, knowing that people in Japan take the shoes off before going in the house or they eat onigiri or whatever. And so now people want it like that. They don't want this story to be rewritten so it takes place somewhere else.
Right.
You know, so that's why now you get as foreign as the names may sound, most characters have their Japanese name in manga and anime now, where they didn't used to before.
Right.
The problem with the localization, though, is, like you said, when people start having like, they see it as their chance to shoehorn their political or social views, their identity. You know, like I saw that in this localization thing, because now, you know, AI is going to replace a lot of these jobs because it's just a lot faster. Like now companies in Japan are able to release like simultaneously in Japanese language and other languages
Right.
with the help of AI because it's done quickly. And what people are complaining about is that the quality of the translations aren't the same as the quality of a person that does that for a living, which I understand that. The problem is they got themselves in a corner where because they were doing these things, like there's that girl that was like, you know, put some line about the patriarchy, keeping the character down and all this other stuff. And, you know, and they put like, you know, social issues that have nothing to do with Japan in a Japanese story. They also use, you know, memes that have nothing to do with Japan and like jokes and even like slang, which again, if the anime or manga has Japanese slang, then because it's a character that uses slang, doesn't speak just regular Japanese, then when you translate it, you want to put slang in there too. That's part of who that character is.
Right.
You know, they don't speak correct Japanese. They talk like this. And so like maybe they speak Osaka Ben from Osaka. So then what would be the equivalent of that in English? Or are they from the Bronx? Are they from this or that? They find something to kind of match the character. Yeah. That's localization done correctly, in my opinion, because it's not changing the story or the characters. What you're supposed to do is you change the words without changing the meaning, right? But once you start throwing in non-Japanese related stuff, memes, political, social issues,
agendas.
There was a story about a manga character that was a man, a cross-dresser, and then the localization crew or the person who did it's probably one person, just turned them into a trans character. The original character wasn't trans. It was a man that wore women's clothing. Was it joso in Japanese, like a cross-dresser? It's not the same thing. So that's when a publisher or the manga artist or the creator of these things will have a problem because you're now changing the intent of their story and the identity of their character, you know? So So what happens now is people don't care if their jobs are being replaced by AI because they would rather have bad syntax than something completely changed from its original form.
See, that's the thing. This was a thing in Korea too. I don't think it was like the agendas or, you know, the social issues, whatever, but simply because the official subtitles or the localizations were not up to par. It was just like, you know, let's say like, "What's up, dog?" Then people were just like
translate it literally.
Ohayo inu-san, something like that, right?
It's like people chew.
And I'm like, yo,
konnichiwa, inu no gyunyu-san.
But yeah, when it comes to anime, even movies, because a lot of Koreans, they speak Japanese and they speak Korean, but they speak English, right? So,
right.
There are a lot of unofficial underground localizers in Korea.
Oh yeah. Fan subs.
Yeah, so they were just like whatever, and these guys, let's say in the beginning, it's like thank you for downloading my subs. DJ 5 Duck, you know, at, you know, whatever, right?
Right.
And these localizers, they get famous too.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, if they do a good job, I'm sure they do.
Yeah, man. But thing about this AI stuff, I tried using localization or like translation, the AI stuff. Thing is, eventually somebody will have to check it.
Right.
The thing is, what I'm kind of worried about is all the localizers in the beginning, they will get replaced by AI, but the top person will stay the same, right? And that top person is still going to be the same person who did the, you know, all these problematic localizations and, you know, their version of the So
well, I think what's going to happen, because Seven Seas is a manga company that licenses Japanese titles, and they had to I guess like formally apologize for what the localization team had done or whatever, and then they re-released a chapter of a book or a book, a tankobon, with like the fixed. So I mean, you know, companies don't want that. They don't want that, and they will find out, you know, which localizers are, you know,
responsible for
responsible for like either doing a good job or a bad job, you know, because the fans let them know, and fans are very vocal. They're online, they're letting people know if they like something. Cool. I think the issue is that from a lot of what I've seen, you know, like convention interviews, like a panel of like localizers, and they're talking. They don't seem to have a lot of respect for the fans, and that's like the number one priority when you're doing this.
Yeah.
You're doing it for the fans support the work.
Right.
So if they have an issue with what you're doing, it's bad business.
Yeah.
So I think these companies eventually, if they have a person that's doing this stuff, that obviously if your readers don't like it, you're doing them a disservice.
Yeah.
And if you're not following what the actual original property was doing, then also you're doing a bad job. So I think these companies eventually, just out of a survival instinct, will weed out people who are ruining whatever anime or manga they're publishing.
Yeah, man. Over the years, what I saw on YouTube, like these Wokelizers, they have this attitude, like, you know, this is my anime, this is my manga.
Yeah, see, no, that's like, not what that is.
God, it's not yours. Thing is, again, man, you're a localizer / translator.
Right. There was a tweet, same thing. It was a localizer. He said, "The true joy of localization is seeing what you can get away with." And if you have that attitude taking that job, I can't imagine any creator of any manga or anime wanting someone like that to translate their work in other languages.
Exactly.
Because, again, that's not what the job isn't you rewriting stuff, fixing stuff.
And these motherfuckers are still getting jobs, man.
Yeah, well, I think, unfortunately, I guess, depending on who's looking at this, but I mean, a lot of jobs are going to be taken by AI.
Dude, I'm pretty sure that dude has the same mindset too.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, anybody arguing for changing the original work is completely off track, dude.
It's weird, man. Like,
Twitter's funny because it's people unfiltered giving their opinions on things, and you know, they have the advantage of anonymity. And I think it's interesting. I mean, as much as I think this whole race swapping thing is silly, it's at least good that people can voice their opinion, so you can see what's in their head, what they're how they're seeing things. I mean, most of the stuff I read, it just seems really silly to me. But I think the one thing we do have to fight for is everyone, no matter how stupid their opinion, to be able to voice it. That's one thing. It doesn't matter on what side you are on any argument. You just want everybody to be able to say what they have to say. We don't want censorship. So I think that's one thing. What good thing on Twitter? I mean, I don't frequent Twitter really.
No,
but no, I mean, I go on every once in a while, or like somebody will send me a tweet for me to look at, and then I'll go on and I'll just kind of see what's going on. But it's mostly people angry people arguing.
Oh yeah, talking about voice actors. You know, the dude named Furuya Toru.
Who's that?
Oh, like he's the voice of Amurore. Gundam.
Oh, okay,
so
okay.
Every Japanese person knows his voice, and he
Right.
was also a voice of this character.
Who's Amuro Day? Is that like a blonde guy that wears a helmet? Is that
No,
him?
that's Shaw. That's Shaw. Amuro
Okay,
is like
I don't know
the
Gundam.
first Gundam pilot.
Okay.
So
okay.
he's like Amuro ikimasu. That dude.
Okay, so he's like super popular, dude. Gundam's like one of the biggest.
I mean, the voice actors in Japan, they get the celebrity status when they get
yeah.
famous, right? So this dude, he got caught having an affair with a 33-year-old. Was it a kabajo or like fuzokujo or something like that?
Okay, how old is he?
He's 70.
Okay.
So I'm like, yo, man, genki desu na.
And what happened? Was it like a big thing, or was it just kind of?
Oh, it's big because he's the voice of anime in Japan.
Right.
So
what happened?
So he got caught, and I think he got fired from his like Conan. This character of Conan. I don't really watch Conan. Yeah, but
wow.
Yeah, but I mean, really popular.
Was it like here? Were people asking for his firing? Like, we can't have this guy on Conan.
Japan,
was it like
so
that?
Yeah, it's Japan. I mean, Japan. Somebody famous does something, especially in an affair. You know, like it's like an idol girl. Right. Getting caught like having a smoke or something
Smoking,
like that.
or having a boyfriend or something like that.
It's like shave your head time, right?
Yeah.
Most
that's
dudes,
crazy,
they just get fired. But
yeah, that's coming up on Cringe Musume is official public apologies in Japan. We got to talk about that, dude. There's so many. Yeah.
But yo, man, 70-year-old Gigi having an affair with like
she must have been a fan of Gundam, dude. What are you gonna do?
She was
I'm sure, dude.
a hardcore fan. That's how they met.
Yeah, dude. Because
you know, like sometimes they have like a meet the voice actor like event or something like that, right?
Akshu.
Yeah. But then you know the what do you call those? Deri Herujo, a girl who provides sexual service for money, right?
Right.
And then, you know, first time like is like akshukai, something like that.
Yeah.
And like Furuya-san like saw her for the first time, was like, okay. Second time he was like, okay. Now
second time is something else was getting
shaken.
dude.
Then probably like Rain, whatever, oshiete, then you know. I think they even released their like line, like the chat history. Something like that. I think she did.
Whoa,
yeah,
what she did?
Yeah, because after you know they became a couple, and they went to like onsen and stuff, right? Then of course it's always like, oh, why are we not getting married?
Ooh,
And the dude was like, "Yo, I thought this was just like I thought we had an agreement."
Big mistake,
big
homie.
mistake, big mistake.
Damn,
So
dude.
then I think she, one of those like tabloid magazines.
Yeah.
Immediately,
Wow.
I have a story.
Oh, damn, dude. Treacherous.
Yeah, man. But at
That's
70,
crazy.
man,
Got him.
that's how we want to age, man.
Yo. Wow, dude. Yo, so I got a question for you. In Korea, is it illegal to have an affair? Do you go to jail?
Used to be like that.
Okay, up
But-
until when?
Till
Recently?
90 something.
Damn, you just
Yeah.
jail time.
Yeah. And I think I remember the news when the affair law got just like, okay, let's delete that, scratched off. Then that day, the hotel 우리하게
People just racing to cheat, dude.
Oh.
Man.
one of my favorite songs, Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now. Yo, the
It's a
co-writer.
mannequin song, huh?
Yeah, the co-writer, like it's still like
Whose song was
Jefferson Starship.
Jefferson Starship.
Starship, yeah.
Okay.
But like, there's a co-writer. I forgot his name, but the story was he was married to this lady, but he was having an affair with this other girl for like 7 years. And finally, they got divorced. So that kimochi was like, and we can be,
Right.
Yeah.
Nothing's gonna stop us now. Is this a known fact or is this like a
It's a famous story.
damn dude?
But that song, every time I hear that song, it's still one of my favorite songs. And every time I hear it, like, 新しい恋がしたい. Yeah, man. Let's say like if I walk somewhere, like let's say like Shibuya or wherever, right, with this girl that I'm dating, if that song comes out of nowhere, she's gonna be my girlfriend. That's how much I love that
Dude,
song.
that's the Uwaki anthem, dude.
DJ 5 reporting for duty.
Yeah, so besides localization, there's other industries that are being affected by AI, are animation and manga as well, just graphic arts in general. I mean, right now, still what we see of AI is still, you can point out mistakes that it makes that don't make sense. In drawings and stuff, there'll just be lines that just go
Has that
places that they shouldn't.
Has that AI feel?
It does have that AI feel. Also,
music
the
too.
photorealistic stuff. You can tell, the fingers, the hands are all messed up and whatever. But it won't take long before it's indistinguishable. We've said this before, but it's going that way.
Right.
And so, I'm pretty sure studios and companies are going to want to save money by using these tools.
Right.
And that's going to cut out a lot of the workforce. Right? So, I'm not sure how Japan is seeing this. I remember when I was living there was when like digital like manga for like cell phones and on their computer, like basically not on paper, not books,
Right.
was starting to really become popular. And I remember the publishers were trying to stay ahead with this and thinking, okay, well, what do we do? Do we start releasing stuff online digitally as well? Do we do stuff for cell phones? There were like small like keitai manga companies popping up
Right.
that just specifically dedicated to doing things for the smartphones, cell phones. Yeah. And I mean, I just think definitely anime and manga will be affected. And I don't know how long it'll take, but it could be pretty quickly. I was reading an article about it. They were just saying that it's like, for instance, right now there's programs like Midjourney and other programs that you can input in your prompt the style you want it in, so you can use the names of famous artists.
Same thing. Yeah.
Right. So it's not going to be perfect, but
It's got to be some kind of starting point or
and
reference,
especially
right?
the artists that have the most work out there and online, all that stuff's being scrubbed. So those are the ones that, you know, potentially have the best chance of the work actually being replicated closely, you know. But I don't know. It's definitely a topic.
Yeah,
It's definitely a
talk
topic.
about it next time.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
That was real weird, dude.
Yeah.
Happy New Year to everyone. We'll close it out with the
Yeah.
今年もよろしくお願いしま
よ
す。
ろしくお願いします。
And yeah, leave some comments below. Let us know what
Leave
you
the
think
comments.
about yeah, and don't forget to subscribe if you feel so inclined.
Peace.
Peace.